Okay, I already told you how important the Google AdWords keyword tool is and how it's a great way to find keywords and phrases for your business, as well as finding those important LSI words according to Google's relevance and how they list them, which is why we want to be using this tool. Well, when it comes to search engine optimization, of course, when it comes to putting our whole master plan together, you're going to see that I use like a little numbering convention for LSI words and how they relate to when we optimize things for like certain keywords and phrases. So I use this numbering convention kind of little scheme throughout how the system comes together as far as the instructions for you to take action. And so I need to show you how you go and get those values and what they relate to. Otherwise, you won't understand it. So we'll come in here and search for a keyword. I'm actually going to, let's take a break from gardening. I'll do golf this time. So if we do a search for, let's say, golf clubs. So let's say we're trying to optimize a page to rank high for the term golf clubs. So we come in here and we click Get Keyword Ideas, and these are the different keywords related to the primary keyword. Now, I score these other keywords as keyword 1A, 1B, 1C, 1D. Let me explain that. The main keyword that you're trying to optimize a page for, the primary keyword, that is keyword 1A or KW1A. It's not just KW1, it's KW1A. Well, when you look at these other keywords that Google will show you, aside from the main keyword, which is this top one, which is keyword 1A, the next one down is keyword 1B, the next one keyword 1C, keyword 1D, keyword 1E, and so on. You could keep going down to KW1Z if we did all these in order down to Z, because this is sort of sorted by relevance, other keywords that pretty much have golf clubs in them or very closely related. So these are all KW and then whatever the naming convention, this listing convention is. So if our main keyword we're targeting is always KW1A, in this list, this is KW1B, this is KW1C, this is KW1D. So if in the instructions I say, here's where you may want to use KW1C for a page you're trying to get ranked high, it would be this one, because this is 1A, 1B, 1C. I think you get it. Now, when it comes to LSI keywords, we come down here to these similar keywords sorted by relevance, and this is according to Google. So this is like LSI stuff according to Google, which is who we want to pay attention to. Now, if you ever see a shorter term that's kind of a root term, which in our case, this is what we're seeing here, just golf, let's ignore it. Ignore just a single root term if it's included in our main keyword that we're targeting. If this said like, you know, tennis for some reason, which of course it doesn't because it's not relevant, but if it did, then it'd be okay, even though it's a short word and it's a single word. But golf is technically a part of golf clubs. It's the first word. Or if our keyword was golfing clubs, we still wouldn't want to use this because the word golf is contained within the words golfing. So we're going to throw that one out. But the next one down, ladies golf club sets, this actually contains golf club. And ideally, since our main keyword was golf club, we don't want to use an LSI keyword that contains our keyword phrase. Sometimes you can't avoid it because your topic will be so deep and so broad that that's all there is. In that case, it's okay. Start from the top. You're going to use the numbering convention I'm going to explain to you right now to give them labels. That's fine. But ideally, skip all the ones that contain the same keyword that we're trying to work with and then number them from there. And so here's how we would do that. So skipping the main one that's already in our main keyword, golf, we don't want that. Golf club, we don't want that. Golf set, that's okay. That's different from golf club. So now if we were just targeting golf, of course, we wouldn't want this. But if you're targeting golf, you're really not going to have many options because everything has golf in it pretty much. But in our case, for golf clubs, let's stick to the plan. Golf set would be the first one that makes sense. Again, we don't want that one to the keyword. We don't want this one because it contains golf club. This one is okay. This becomes LSI 1A. Now, what would be LSI 1B, LSI 1C, LSI 1D? It wouldn't be these other ones. What that would refer to is if we did the top search like we did for golf clubs and got this full listing related to golf clubs, that's how we'd find LSI 1B, 1C, 1D, 1E. It would be all these sub-main terms to the main LSI term. So I'm sorry if that's a little bit confusing. But here's how these would be numbered. This would be LSI 1A. We'd ignore this one has golf club in it. We ignore this one has golf club in it. This one has golf bags. It's okay. This is LSI 2A. This is LSI 3A, LSI 4A, LSI 5A. We've already pretty much used this down here. This is just the plural. Let's ignore that. So this has golf clubs in it. We ignore this. We've kind of used golf set already. We'll ignore that. Components we haven't. So that's LSI, whatever we're up to, 6A, LSI 7A, and so on and so forth. So all of the ones that list in here are LSI, a number, and then A, because A is like the top of the root. So these are just what they are. So if we take Pine Meadow Golf, and let's say this was whatever it was, LSI 3A, because, you know, we're going 1, 2, and we're counting them down according to this list with those numbers. So if this is LSI 3A, to get 3B, 3C, 3D, we'd do the main search at the top, and we would find it would show here as the first one, and then whatever's next and the next would be our 3B, 3C, 3D, 3E. So from the top, we start by searching for our main keyword, and then we come down farther in the process. Actually, let me see if we can do another quick example to kind of not make it so complicated. Let's go with, let's see, do even another industry. Let's go web hosting services. So let's say we're trying to, by the way, very, very competitive field. Wouldn't even try to attempt to optimize for this, but let's say we are. So we're going to try to optimize a page for web hosting services. That's our primary keyword. We want to rank high for that. So in our naming scheme, that's what we know in our little formula that we're going to use as KW1A. That's our primary keyword. So come in here, we do a search. And again, it's at the top. That's KW1A. The next one down, KW1B, 1C, 1D, 1E, 1F, and so on. So these are all KW1s. KW1A, KW1B, KW1C. But we want the LSI words for web hosting services that we're going to use in our formula. And so we come down here. Let's see if this is a very long list here. So we come down here, and now this is challenging because we're using web hosting services, and ideally web hosting is such the main part of that keyword that ideally we want LSI words that don't have web hosting in them. And it's very, very hard to do because that theme is made up so much of that word. As you can see, almost every LSI or kind of related synonym to it just simply has web hosting in it. So we almost can't get away from it. So when that's the case, we just have to use it. So this first one is LSI 1A. This is the one. This is the top LSI one according to relevance. This is LSI 2A, LSI 3A. This we could ignore because it's the root. 4A, 5A, 6A. So this is how we get LSI 1A. It's the first one that's shown for other keywords as synonyms in the Google AdWords keyword tool. So if this is LSI 1A, in order for us to get 1B, 1C, 1D, we'd have to take this term, come up to the top and search, and then go by what shows here, where it would be the top as A, so it would be LSI 1A, 1B, 1C. So that's how we find the terms using this naming scheme that I use. So hopefully you got that. If you didn't, just watch this again until it sets in. It's not that complicated. The only complex part is when you got to make the decisions to throw out certain ones. Typically it doesn't happen up here. It happens when you get to the LSI part, the synonym part. Sometimes you just can't find many, other keywords depending on the industry and depending on whatever phrase you're targeting to get completely, different words that don't contain the phrase. If in doubt, find, well, it's almost forced to find it. So this would be KW1A. So if we're trying to rank high for gardening, KW1A, KW1B, KW1C. So if we come down here, yeah, this is a little bit better. So this is LSI1A because this is the most relevant LSI themed keyword. This is LSI2A. Now this is a tough decision here. Ideally, I would skip all these because they contain a big part of gardening. And I would come down to this next one. So this would be LSI 3A, LSI 4A, LSI 5A, 6A, 7A. You get the picture. So if this is LSI 1A and our formula calls for a usage of LSI 1D, how do we get that? Well, we would take LSI 1A, we'd come up to the top, we'd search for that LSI term, that is LSI 1A. We know that it's going to be at the top. This is LSI 1A. This is 1B. This is 1C. Here is how we'd find 1D. It would be this word right here, flowers, com. That's what would be, I think that's for people trying to find flowers.com, but that's what would be our LSI 1D. So that's how you find those KW numbers as well as the LSI numbers when it comes to using the formula that you're going to learn and bringing all this together. So when we're optimizing a page for two different keywords, those actual phrases themselves would be KW1A and KW2A, and any then root terms or subterms off of those would be KW1 ABCD, KW2 ABCD, and then any LSI words related to either one of those would be LSI, 1, 2, 3 in relation to that keyword, and then 1, 2, 3 in relation to the other keyword. Now, typically, though, they're going to have the same numbers and stuff when it comes to using two different keywords. You only want one set of LSI keywords because they relate to both. No reason to go and look them up for both different keywords. So just wanted to point that out. When we do optimize a page or do anything, we're never going to look up LSI keywords for two different keyword phrases if we're trying to optimize for two different keyword phrases at the same time. One is enough. And it's valid unless the two keywords we're trying to rank for at the same time are completely unrelated, which we shouldn't be doing in the first place. Anyways, watch this again if it got confusing at all until you get it. Sorry if it was confusing. Sorry if I was long-winded about it. Just wanted to make sure you got it. That's how you come up with the little naming conventions that I use in the instructions to bring all this together. And so when you see those LSI 1As and Bs and Kword 1As and Bs, that's how you come up with them.